Do you ever feel like you're living a double life? One second you're analyzing a deal, and the next second you're getting a Teams notification for a meeting at work. It's almost like your brain is in two worlds. And I've been there. Like, I am there. So, hi, my name is Sabrina, and I'm failing forward in real estate to build a more durable life. And I am working a full-time W-2 while building my real estate business on the side. And in today's video, we are going to talk about why having a W-2 and building in real estate is so hard, and 3 strategies that I'm using to feel a little less torn between the two. So first, what's the problem? Why is this so hard to do? So the reasons are many, but I think they can be boiled down into 2 categories: time and focus. So the first, time. There's just only so many waking hours in the day. And the reality is our W-2s take up most of them. And that just leaves the scraps for real estate and frankly, like the rest of your life. And so I know that this is obvious, but I want to say it out loud, just in case you're kind of beating yourself up or thinking that you're doing something wrong. Like, there is just a time constraint reality that we have to be okay with. Because that is our reality. We already had a full plate. You've got your full-time job, you've got your life and your family and your things, and now we're adding something onto that. And there's only so much time. And so the fact that that feels difficult is because it is. So in addition to the hours and minutes, in addition to the time, there's also the challenge of focus, like energy and focus. And so we can have this experience of just kind of mental exhaustion if we are doing things like task switching. So if you are, jumping from analyzing a deal to being in a meeting to running comps to writing a report, like that back and forth can be really exhausting. But what can also be exhausting is if you work the entire day, get home, and then even if you've got the time, having the energy to put into looking at deals or looking at the MLS or calling people back, that energy can just be difficult to find. So again, I just want to say this out loud because I'm sure many of us have that experience of feeling that exhaustion at the end of the day, but recognizing that it's both the hours and the minutes and also the mental energy and focus that are the barriers, the roadblocks, if you will, that just make this feel so impossible and torn between our W-2s and our real estate. So what are some strategies that I've been using to try to deal with the issues of time and focus? So first, let's talk about time. So when it comes to time, we've got to designate time for our real estate. And I know we've all heard it and it's really hard. It is. But you've got to set what's going to be your dedicated time daily, weekly to work on real estate. You've got to set it like a meeting or an event that you are very inflexible on so that you can dedicate that time on a consistent basis to being able to move forward in real estate. So one example of how I do my designated time is after I work, I do some kind of transition activity. Usually that's walking the dog. And then I can come back and settle into real estate. And I just do that until I can't anymore, until my husband comes home, until it's time for dinner, until there's maybe some other event with the family. But that is my designated time. As much as I can squeeze out of after work, after my kind of transition activity, as much as I can do, that's what I do during my designated time. So the second way that I like to think about time, which might be a little bit controversial, is what I call found time. So this is time during the typical work day that I find to be able to move some real estate tasks forward. So this might be, I've got an hour meeting that was scheduled, but it only took 40 minutes. And so now I've got 20 minutes of found time to do some small task that I can just creep just a little bit more forward, right? I can look at a notification about a house that came available in my market. I can shoot off a quick email to my agent, or I can clean up something in my CRM system. But being able to find this time and claim it as your own, right? Instead of maybe mindlessly checking email or hopping on social media, really dialing in on those little bits of time that you find can be a really great way to keep these kinds of steps moving forward. Now, I do want to caution, you cannot build this real estate business on the side with found time only. Those, 10, 15, 20 minutes that just kind of drips and drabs in ways that are, unpredictable or unexpected is a really difficult way to build the kind of consistency that you need. So it doesn't take the place of designated time, but found time can be a great way to just clean up some tasks, or even have a couple of small wins during the day. So then when you have your designated time, if it's like me after work, then you've already been like, oh, look at that, I've done a couple of things. I'm just gonna pick up where I left off, and commit to that designated time. Strategy number 2 is also about time, and that is help. We have got to delegate and lean on other people. Whether that's working with agents who help you with offers or finding deals on the MLS, whether that is a general contractor who manages the day-to-day, which can be a little hit or miss, honestly. Whether that be a call and answer service if you are doing direct to seller, or even some kind of apps or software. So I'm sure we've all heard the stories of, someone who was working their W-2 and they still did driving for dollars. But there's, apps that can help systematize the process and automate things. But we want to leverage people and other resources because we do not have a lot of time, right? We don't have a boundless, endless amount of time. And so we're gonna need others to help us with that. And so that obviously has an inherent trade-off, right? We don't have as much time. And so that might mean that we have to leverage money in order to get things done. So whether that is commissions for agents, paying for software, having that premium on rehabs because you're using a general contractor. Sometimes we need to make some of these trades because we just don't have the time to do everything and follow up on all the things and call the people. So if you are really feeling like you are struggling to have the time, I want you to really think, what help are you using? How are you leveraging other people in order to make your steps forward so that you keep making progress? So strategy number 3 addresses this issue of focus. And what I have learned is that all real estate activities are not created equal, at least for me. So when I think of managing my energy and focus, I think about these different kinds of tasks. So for me, things like crafting offers and submitting offers is really kind of like emotional and high energy and high emotion for me. And so I don't try to squeeze that into, a 10-minute found time between meetings because it gets so much energy and anxiety going. And so really knowing what tasks are more emotional lifts for you is going to be important in deciding, well, which tasks can go into which times, right? And so for me, again, like I said, doing the offers thing is like really anxiety inducing. And so if I've got a few of them that I'm trying to make, I will try to line those all up in like one designated block 1 day a week, right? I just muster all of the courage and that I can put the offers together and submit, and then just kind of spend the rest of the evening just like decompressing and letting all of that energy and anxiety like flood in and flood out. But trying to squeeze that into a 10-minute session is going to leave me wildly distracted once I go into my next like work meeting. But those small administrative tasks, quick emails, little things in the CRM, very easy to do. And so for me, the key to focus and energy management is recognizing the differences between these tasks and making sure that the task and the kind of time allotted to it match. So balancing a W-2 and real estate can feel impossible because it's really hard. Like your time, your energy, your focus are limited resources that we've got to use wisely, because otherwise we'll just have starts and stops and we won't build momentum. But the other thing that I also want to say that's really important is that we have to learn to be patient. We are building our real estate on the side, which means that we might not have the same success story as that person you heard on the podcast who was able to quit their job with one rental that somehow makes like $20,000 a month. That might not be your story. It's certainly not my story. And so we've got to have the patience to run our own race. Now, if you're still here, you might be someone who is committed to the time and the focus, right? But if you've got a feeling inside that you're like, no, Sabrina, there's something else. If you feel that the reason why you feel torn between your W-2 and real estate is something deeper, then you might be interested in watching this video next. I'll see you in the next one.